Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for joining me again. What we're doing today is working on the bumper, building a front bumper on the S10. I'll spin you around here, show you what I'm thinking. Thought about it a bunch of different ways. That's the way I decided to go with it. So I'll spin around and show you what it is, and you can let me know in the comments what you think about it. So I'm thinking on here, these frame horns come up and then it kind of flattens out there where it bumped with the bumper bolted on a few different times. It already has these toe hooks, so I'm going to go ahead and keep those. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to cut these off flush with this here, both sides, and then I'm going to take either from some flat stock or some big angle and kind of run it like that all the way across. And the reason being, I kind of want it a little bit lower because, as you can see, the oil filter for these things is like right there. I do not want to go through the hassle of trying to move that around. There's also some other electrical things here that I think is probably airbag sensors, whatever they may be, which I might end up taking those out, but the oil filter yet I don't want to mess with. A lot of other shit up in here, radiator, some other stuff that I want to, kind of keep protected. So I think if I start here, I'll just kind of trim the edge of the angle at an angle. That's right. Just kind of trim it here so that it fits back a little bit better and kind of hangs down. It'll only hang down probably, something like that, maybe an inch below these. But it'll cover all this stuff up, so I won't have to worry too much about hitting that. 1/4 inch is about the absolute max of my little welder. That's if I turn it on Lucifer mode and really feed it the coal. So that's what I think I'm going to do. Like I said, I'm going to cut those off straight across here, and I don't think it'll really lose any strength. But we'll see. I'll get these cut off and a piece of angle on there, and then I'll bring you back and show you what that looks like. Alright, so I picked up some material today. This is a heavy duty angle. This is a 6x6, 5/16 inch thick. The reason I went so big is I want it to protect the oil filter, like I said. Pretty much goes right to the edge of here and right to the edge of there. So it's pretty much the exact width as a frame, but this part hits the toe hooks in here. So what I did is measured it out, how far down I could go and still leave room to put straps or whatever on the toe hooks, but also over, so it leaves me enough room for the toe hooks here also. So what I did is you basically just marked over 2 3/4 inch this way, 2 inches down from the top, and then I just took my square here, made a line diagonally across there. I'm going to take my cutoff wheel and cut that off, and then I'll get it set on there, and there's probably a couple other spots I'm going to have to trim out, and then I'll figure out how I'm going to bolt it and do all that, because I do want to bolt it on so I can remove it if I ever need to for anything. So I'm going to go ahead and get those cut out, and I'll show you what it looks like there once I get them cut. So here's the progress I made so far. Like I said, 6x6, 5/16 angle. The original slash cut I had here did not work out just because it hit the side of the thing here, so I ended up cutting it in and down a little bit. Don't know if I like that yet or not. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Should I slash cut that a little more across there to give it more of a tapered look like this, or just leave it as is? I'm planning on bolting it like I'd said. I did drill some holes in the top here. These are 3/8 or 7/16, can't remember. It was with one of them step bits into my drill press. And it's thick as shit. It's hard to do if you don't have a drill press. You can do it, take your time with a regular drill. It's just a speed difference a lot of times, and you're cutting, make sure you keep it oiled and everything just because this shit is so thick. But I'm going to bolt it here, and then I'm going to side. I'm going to come off it with another plate and bolt. So what I got figured out here, I'm going to use this. I want to make it so I can unbolt it in case I got to work on anything in this area. I don't want to have to worry about having to cut shit out of the way. Like I said, I'm eventually going to straight axle it. I don't know how that's going to play along with this. So I want to be able to unbolt it if I have to. The frame horn up here has a weak point, like right in here. It's meant to be where it will fold over in an accident. So what I'm doing is I cut off that horn there, and I'm going to weld this seam back up so that that's more sound. It's not going to fold off or pull off or anything like that. But I got this piece here, and things like this are why I don't throw stuff away, because this piece fits perfectly inside of the frame right here. It's going to sit in just like that, and I've got this hole drilled out, so it'll go through here, and then it'll bolt on. So the bolt will go through here, through the frame, through this here. And the same thing's going to happen over here. I'm going to have a 3 by 3/4 inch angle that's going to come out here. It'll bolt here to the frame mount, the body mount horn here. It'll also come in, it'll bolt in through the side here, which will go through the side right here, and like I said, bolt all together. And then this angle is going to weld to the side of this giant angle. Then it'll be bolted here, here, and here. All those points in there, and this being as solid as it should, that should be plenty enough to pull me out of anything I ever get stuck into, and should also accept a winch when I decide to get one, if I decide to put one on there. But it's pretty much, as you can see, hangs on low enough to cover up that oil filter and the lines for that. So anything that I come to head on should cover it. Eventually I would like to come off the bottom of this with a skid plate that goes down underneath, but that's down in the future. That's I'm probably going to end up doing a straight axle on here sometime, you know, once all this front end stuff starts breaking. But as of right now, this is the progress I've got. I'm going to come back once I get all the holes and everything bolted in, get it all secured and bolted on. I am going to come up with some tube work around here, probably down. I don't know if I'm going to try to come up and bend something, or if I'm just going to use square stock for this part and build it around. But then I'm also going to come out of here and then back down to the side. So this kind of, let's say, Baja style bumper. And then somewhere inside of this cutout is where I'll mount the blinkers to. Like I said, I do intend on driving this down the road a little bit, you know, back and forth to work or something periodically, or driving it out the trail riding or whatever. I got the bumper bolted on there. Like I said, I gotta get these other brackets, but for the most part it's bolted on there. I ended up putting a couple more bolts on the inside through each side of the frame, just a little extra support. So what I'm doing now, this is just cheap Harbor Freight pipe bender, 12-ton hydraulic pipe bender. Not a tube bender, it is a pipe bender. I have bent tube in it with some success. You got to move it quite a bit, like make some marks on about every inch and move it back and forth. And you can get an okay bend with it, but nothing. I wouldn't trust it really structurally for the most part. I tried to get a guy to bend my main hoop, but he doesn't have the right die for it, so that probably won't happen right away. But anyway, what I did, 60 inches long, I just pulled the measurement, basically from that side of the headlight to this side of the headlight, with a little bit of a extra added in because I'm going to lop the ends of it off anyways. Then I found a center line here in between these two headlights is 30.5. Dead center of that hood right there is 15.25 from each side. So I found that's basically my center mark. So I put a center mark here on the tube, and there's also a center mark here. From this point to this point is 4 inches, so I just made a straight line up. So that's going to give me my reference point to start with. I got these little things pushed out quite a ways. You can put them in tighter, but I don't need that tight of a bend on it. This is just probably only going to be about a 10 or 15 degree bend, just because you can see kind of how the hood rounds this way. It's just going to give me a little bend to start that way, and then I'll go out here a little bit farther and bend it again to get it to curve around this side of the headlight. And it's probably going to end like right in here, and then I'll slash cut it and cap it. And then I'll probably just come off of these with a couple of straight up tubes that's going to set on top of. I was originally going to make a bend off of here and down and then move them out that way, but I think this will be just plenty good enough. Like I said, it's basically just a little protection, and I eventually would like to put a winch in here. So once I get these up and those out, and then I'll just be able to come off the bottom of here with a downward tube and connect it back into there, either off the side of here or right into the upward tube. But first things first, we'll get this center one bent. Like I said, it's only going to be a few degrees, nothing special. It's pretty much just a bottle jack inside of there. So probably just give you the gist of it here. Like I said, you just jack it up till it hits, and then you just make a bend. Try it. You can get in there with an angle finder on here and go all that route, but I usually just eyeball it best I can. You know, like I said, I'll put a little bit of a bend in it, try it. If I want a little more, put a little more into it. I don't want to do too much at once because then it's not going to look right. I may end up having to, after this bend, I may have to put another one somewhere in here, depending on how far of a rake it is. I don't want this to be a huge point out here and not a slight curve. So I may have to bend it a little bit here. I may have to bend it a little bit, each direction. I'll make some marks on the tube. If that's the case, then I'll show you. But first thing, I'm going to get a little bend right in the middle here. So I'll bring you back in just a second. Alright, so you got a slight bend into it there. There's my center mark right there, and it's got the slight rake to it. So we put it down here in front. You can see it starting to follow good, and then back over in here it's starting to go out again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move out, probably put a mark about every inch out from that for about 4 or 5 inches each direction, and then I'll move it, bend it, move it, bend it, move it, bend it each direction until I get it to start making that gradual curve instead of just one sharp peak in the middle. So I'll bring you back when I get a little closer. Alright, so I'm getting some stuff mocked up here. Like I said here, this is 1.25 inch schedule. It's actual schedule 80 pipe. It's pretty thick. But what I did, I cut these here at about 9 inches, and then did a fish mouth grind on the inside here. Cut that out so that this tube would sit down inside of it, both sides. Got it tacked in down there. Put the bends in it like I showed you there. Got it tucked up just under the light, and it hangs out probably a good half of the tube, if not a little bit more. Got both sides relatively even. Like I said, it's not perfect by no means, but good enough for who it's for. So I'm going to get this all back off here so that I can finish welding around all this tube work here. But probably before I do that, I'm going to see what I've got left for pipe here and see if I can't get something to come off here to out here. So I think it would look a little bit better. If I don't have enough here, then I'll grab some tomorrow maybe and try to get it to come. I'd like to get almost out to the end, so I probably will have to wait till tomorrow. But I'll get that measured up so I know how much I need of it anyways. Plus I got to get bolts for all the way around. Grade 8s, I don't use anything else but grade 8s. Like I said, for the few bucks difference, it's worth just upgrading. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and probably before I'm done tonight, I'll slash cut these tips off here and weld some caps on those too. Get some caps ready to, I'll tack them on there so that when I take this all off, I can weld those on too. But this spot I left kind of open for right now. Like I said, I'm intending to put a winch in here. I may still come up and do something in here yet. We'll see. It depends on what I can get the tube for or the pipe for or whatever I end up using. Alright, it's getting a little closer to what I'm looking for. Got these little bars added in. I ended up having some 1 inch schedule. So cut those, tube notched them, whatever. That's a pain in the ass if you've never done this tube notch and stuff before. I'm not great at it, but I can usually make it work. They got it on there. Like I said, it's looking alright. It's just tacked in place. I said I'm going to pull this all off and finish weld everything. But that's kind of the look I'm going for. I said a slash cut the ends there. I haven't made those pieces yet, but got to get those done. So picked up these, are 3 by 3/4 inch angles is what they started out as. Just a bare bones one that I picked up. It's about 4 inches long. So I made some marks and I cut it down, drilled some holes out. Like I said, I got a hole there and a hole there. It's going to be able to bolt it to the mount, and it's going to bolt it to the frame here. Plus there's another one on the inside, plus there's one going down from here. So I think 4 bolts ought to make this pretty strong. They're all 3/8 or 7/16 depending on where it's going to go at. But this base is going to sit in here like that, bolt to the frame, both sides. Like I said, I'm going to come in here and weld that, and it leaves there's a bit of a shoulder there. With my little welder, I don't need all the help I can get, so I'm going to really put it on Lucifer mode and crank much welding here as I can get in, and hope like hell that being on the edge like that, I'm going to be able to get some good heat penetration into this 5/16 angle. The 1/4 I've done before with some pretty good success. 5/16 is really pushing it. But I'm going to go ahead and bolt this on here so that it's tightened in the right spot. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of tacks, some pretty heavy tacks on here so that I can still pull all this off here and finish welding anything. I may end up just burning that in because it's in a pretty good position where it's at. So I might just end up burning that whole thing in right here where it sits, so that way it doesn't move on me. Like I said, I'll bolt it in, get it tightened up, and then I'll burn it in. Then I pretty much got to turn that one into the same thing for the other side. It's going to basically look exactly like that. I'll bolt into there like so. I clearance it here so you can still get the strap in here, and I can still get inside of the frame to get to the back side of these bolts. So I'm going to get that going. Go ahead and get that bolted on, welded on, and then I'll pull it off here, finish welding it all, paint it all up, and I'll show you the finished product. I'm going to basically call this step 1 as of right now. Stage 1, step 1, whatever you want to call it. I'm probably going to end up coming back in, like I said, do something across the top of here, maybe even come out a little bit with something. But for right now, because I am taking it out this weekend and I have to do some other work to it yet, I'm going to get this all welded up and painted up like it is. I'm going to cap these, which is, just a basically flat plate. I'm making his cap ends here, and all I did is basically take a piece of cardboard, hold it over the end, trace around it with a pencil. It gets you a rough shape anyway. So I'm going to trace this onto some 1/8" steel. Like I said, it's just a cap, doesn't need to be super structural anyway. And then I'll cut that out, probably with my cutoff wheel. But I'll take it just inside of the line so that when I put this on there, it gives me a space around here to weld to. Got the rest of it all fully welded up. To get these caps on there, and then I'm going to clean it up a bit, and I'm going to spray it with some truck bed coating stuff, make it a little bit better looking. Something bounces off it, it ain't going to hurt it too bad otherwise, and so it's not all rusty looking. So get that done, I'll show you once I get it on there. Here's a finished product on the bumper after it's been painted and everything. I undercoated it with some truck bed undercoating. So I got that all done. Added some stickers on. I'm going to call it the Maroon Baboon. We're all loaded up on the trailer, getting ready to head over to the off-road park. So thanks for watching this video. Stick around for the frame modification on the next one. Probably coming out in about a week, so keep an eye out for that one. Thanks for watching.